I'm Pat Ziemer with Magna Wave. What I want to do today is a overall body treatment on a horse, show you how we approach the horse, how we do the treatment, and we're using the Maia machine today, the Maia all-terrain. So I'm going to start with a scan of the horse. So I'm going to turn it on at about 3, so I can just kind of do a light scan to look for obvious issues. We can, as you know, we can create movement, but we don't want to do that. We want to find where there's stress, then kind of work that area and help the horse feel a lot better. So certainly when we approach a horse for the first time, we like to come from the chest area, the front area, let them enjoy it and relax with it so they know what's going on. You can even go to the point to allow the horse to kind of experience it, smell it, realize that it's not going to be a problem, anything going on. Okay, buddy. So I want to begin now. And I'm looking for places where I get a little movement, and I've got some right in this area right here. As I come to the back, I don't have it. There's a little bit up here. You can see that, I presume. So basically we want to do the whole shoulder, just maybe like you'd be brushing the horse or just moving, petting the horse, just looking, moving gently, looking for spots where you pick up some sensitivity. It's right here. As I move down, it diminishes, but it picks up a little lower. That doesn't necessarily mean that there's a real serious issue there or anything like that. It's just showing us that there's a little stress in that tissue. So I want to move. Again, I'm just doing a scan. This can take just a few minutes. I want to move along the wither, down the top line. We like to be a couple inches off the top line so we're in the area of the acupuncture points. And again, we're just moving, taking it easy. See if we find something. As we come to the back, again, we're just scanning. Picking up a little bit right in this area. So once we've had a look, we can now come back. Let's do his neck here once. Now you notice we're getting a little bit right up here in the neck. Now when you come down to the base where we have so much tissue, and you're always going to get movement in this area. But that does not necessarily mean that there's a problem there. It's because the amount of free space there is. So I can see that I had a little bit here, a little bit right through here, and some as we came right through this area of the hip. So now I'm going to turn it up a little bit. I'm going to go up to probably a 5. And then I just start and I work the horse. So at this point, I'm creating movement because of the setting I'm on, but I'm also going deep. So I'm working the area where I had the sensitivity. And what I do is I keep an eye on the horse's eye. If the horse's eye is not comfortable, then I'm too high, potentially. But he's comfortable. He looks like he's relaxing, actually. You'll notice that that spot where we had some movement earlier is going a little more than the other areas. So you're still going to pick up the area of sensitivity. As I drop down, it's less. But when I hit that spot, you see it's causing a reaction through the whole shoulder. Again, you want to make sure. Someone might say, my goodness, that's too much. But if you look at his eye, he's comfortable. What do you say? Can you stretch for me? There you go. We're buddies. So as you're working this area, now you can use any attachment you want. Some people prefer the large loop. Others use the butterfly like I'm doing. The butterfly kind of became, over the years, my go-to piece. So we'll just work the area, just like we're brushing. So it's just like somebody rubbing your back. They're rubbing up and down your back. You know, the barrel's an area that a lot of times we don't treat a lot, but you know, there's intercostal tissue and they can have some stress in that area for sure. So as you go, when you get to an area, if you get some movement there, one of the things you can do is just kind of move over to the other side and see if you're getting the same movement. I'll show that again. As we come down, just kind of working, again, a couple inches off the top line because we want to stimulate the acupuncture points. When we get up to an area that has some movement, if you think, I wonder if that's a spot, you just slide over to the other side and you can see it. And it's basically on this, although when I'm here, I'm getting movement all the way back into this area. When I go straight across, I'm getting some movement here, but it's not going all the way back into the hip. See that? So now again, so if I come and rest above the sacrum, I can see that coming off of the sacrum, I'm getting more movement on this side than I am on this side, which might lead to think, well, it's coming from down inside then. If you go there and you don't get any movement, but you come over here and you get movement, then it's not coming from this area, it's coming from over here. So I'm on a 5. So we want to go back, check the hamstrings and the glutes. So it's more here, and you notice it was coming all the way back. You know, when you do your report, you want to note that. That's something that your vet can look at and think, and they can make a decision, or you know, just some judgment if it's warranted there. See how it drops off when I get to areas that are not. Stifle is good, he's relaxing. Not getting anything out of the stifle area. Now, as a rule, I spend about 10 minutes moving the area, and if I was talking, so I really wasn't paying attention necessarily if I covered everything that you want to cover. But again, you're just kind of just like you're brushing. You want to develop a pattern. So you know you work the same pattern, it basically becomes second nature. So you know what you're doing, and then you can talk and you still follow your pattern. I'm working this a little bit more because obviously he has more movement on this side than he does on the other side. And he's still very relaxed, wouldn't you say? So now, in theory, what we've done here is by treating the upper torso of the horse, and the signal goes very deep. So we're allowing the blood cells in the upper body to have the ability to better take on oxygen from the lungs and that the body produces. And if the legs are okay, if we're not having any issue with the leg that the trainer or the owner tells you about, all this good blood is going to go to the leg. So you can take the time to do the legs for sure, and sometimes you just want to do that. So you would treat the leg, and let's just do that so we're talking about what you might be doing. You know, there's a lot of school of thought. Some people feel that we want to move up the leg, so as you're massaging the area, you're moving the blood up into the torso, because it's, you know, you're going down into the foot, which is tight. So if you're pushing down, but you know, I hear people talking both ways. But let's just come up the leg from this perspective. If you want to treat the foot just to help it relax, you can open up the coil. Just place it on the foot like that. 3 minutes. You can do it from the front or the back. You can use the paddle and the horse can stand on it. Come at this point. Now we're treating this way. If we turn it this way, now we're going front to back. The tissue is much more responsive when you treat it from different directions, different angles, and even different intensities. So if you were going to do the leg, for example, you might turn around and say, well, since we're going to do the leg, let's move it up to a 6 or a 7. You can take it higher on the leg because there's not as much tissue. So now we're just putting more energy into that area. If we're going to be dealing with the tendon, you can come like this, you can come like this, you can come like this. So now again, we're going this way. Same thing on the knee. And you can experience that on your body as well. If you take the coil and put it on your hand or your elbow, you can turn it much higher than what you can if you have it on your back or your shoulder. So that's how you would approach the leg as you're going. Same thing, if you're going to do the back, some horses will allow you to easily approach the hock, others won't. So you just want to take it, slide it on. Now we can treat the hock. Again, going this way. You can come, the aspirin point is right here on the top. So you can treat the aspirin point for relaxation at the top, right there on the top. You can approach it from the front. If you've got issues here that you're dealing with, you can come like this. And then the same coming down just like you would do on the front. And again, being a leg, you can go higher. If they won't let you treat the hock, if they're just antsy and they just want to kick out or just don't want to do it, you can actually take the coil and just hold it an inch or so off. And you're still treating the area. You can do that from both sides. This horse is beautiful. He's letting me treat his hock. As you're treating, come back down to the 5. As you're treating an area, you can come from the inside if they'll let you, if they'll relax. Relax. So just to go again, spend about 10 minutes from the neck, back, covering the body, and then work the legs. You don't have to do the legs if everything is pretty stable and sound at that point in time, because the good oxygenated blood is going to treat them throughout the day. So at this point, I'm going to do the other side of the horse, and she was just telling me when I was doing his neck and his legs, he quit biting and is more relaxed. So you can do the neck. You can come like this. Hold it up. You can spread it like this from one side, or just let it come over. We move it up to maybe a 6. So when I'm on this 6, you can see that I am getting some movement right here in the neck. So it's working. Again, I look at the eyes. Not pinning, not looking at me like he wants to take my head off. He's actually kind of pretty relaxed. He's kind of drooping in his mouth there a little bit. So when you're using the wings and you know where the areas are that are of issue, you can just give a nice overall treatment. Now we're doing the entire shoulder area. And again, I'm getting some pretty good movement. But again, I look at his eyes and he's thinking maybe I'll sleep. Yeah. Hi. We be buds? Can you pull him up a little bit? There we go. Whoop. Now, if you're at a setting there with you on the wings and you think, well, maybe that's a much, or he's wanting to walk around on you, just drop it down a little bit. So you'll notice now we're still getting some movement, some flexation, but not as much. So you can just gracefully or casually work your way back the horse. You're covering all the basic muscle groups of the area. So we're getting the top line here just off of the top line in the area of the acupuncture points, and we're getting his barrel and ribs. So as you move down the horse, you could say, okay, I'm going to do 3, 3, 3, do like that, and you're doing the whole horse at the one time. I'm going to spin them here. So I'm doing as we're coming up the body, even with the wave wings, you'll see I'm getting more movement on this right side than I am the left side. So it's still telling us where there is some sensitivity. One of the things you can do with the wings is now we can approach the entire top line. It's just an easy way to do an overall body treatment quickly. You can come up. What do you think, buddy? Now we're able to go from the wither to the pole. And we're probably going to watch him drop his head. He's looking pretty serene. Pretty calm. So when you're using the wings, little release there, that's good. You can approach it this way as well and do both sides with the wings closed. You can do the same thing as you're moving down the back if you wanted to do that and just get a little more intensity at that area. You can turn it up a little bit. You can take them and put them into what I call the hot dog, where you kind of narrow it up a little bit and work straight right on the top line. The important thing is that you work a pattern, and here you see I'm getting some pretty good movement, but you can also see he doesn't seem to care. So the secret is, if he's comfortable there and you're getting good deep, there's nothing wrong with that. If he didn't like it, he would walk away. He's not going to stand there and let you do something that's uncomfortable. There we go. Huh? What do you think? So here I'm doing the same thing that we did with the butterfly loop, but I'm using the paddle. The paddle signal is different. On a loop, it comes out like a fountain and comes down into the center of the loop. The paddle comes out kind of like a pancake or a spotlight, so we get a very intense signal that comes out this way. So we can do the same thing here. Look for little areas that give us a little more visibility of something than other areas. But again, I've had some veterinarians that have come for training, and they leave and they go home and the paddle is about all they use. They just love the way the paddle works, the signal that it gives. There we go. You want to remember when you're doing the neck, whether you're using a paddle or a butterfly or a large loop, quite often people will say, well, I'm going to do the neck, and they're up here. And they're getting something. I had a horse that would not raise his head. It was always down. And they kept saying, well, what do we need to do? And I said, send me a video of what you're doing. So they're up here, and when they got, which was too high, but I still saw some movement right here. So I said, just lower it down, bring it right down the spinal area of the neck, and you'll get a good treatment. So again, you want to develop a pattern and basically brush the animal. It's best to follow the way the hair is growing because that's the blood flow. Trying to get me with his tail. He's licking, very relaxed. So you can scan, yep, you can, you can scan with the paddle, looking for your spots. Right there, not so much over there. Again, so people will ask, will it go away immediately? No. Takes some time for it to go away. Can you give it some relief today? Absolutely. If you were to ride today, could you see a difference? Absolutely. That's the thing that really propelled us when we started. Go treat a horse, rider get on it, go off, come back and say, my goodness, this horse hasn't changed leads like this in 6 months. This horse didn't have the flexibility that he had today. Just by treating the top. See, we got a little bit. I tell the story about the racehorse who treated and he couldn't go, and it took us a couple of days to find the spot. It was a little bit like we're getting here, except it was down here. He was fine in the stall. Go to the track, get a little stress, wouldn't go. What we found, relax. What we found after a few treatments in a few days is that he basically had a Charlie horse that would not release here. So when we found the spot and got it to release, we had to do it a continual number of times because they have cellular muscular memory. So he'd leave and it would allow it to come back. But once he realized it was not going to happen, he went to the track and ran like a champion. So again, no matter which attachment you're using, you want to develop your routine. And one attachment is not necessarily better than the other. It's just what you're comfortable with. You do get, each attachment is different on the amount of Gauss that it delivers. You do get a more higher Gauss level with the paddle than you do with the butterfly or the large loop. Now when you're doing the legs or the hock with the paddle, it's the same thing. You can come to the hock and approach just like this. You can do both sides. If you want to do the aspirin points, you can come to the top. He stopped biting again, right? He's just enjoying the legs. He loves the paddle. The paddle just relaxes him. So just take your time, work the area. You know, you can come to the foot and approach it from the front, just like this. Again, when we're doing the when you're doing a foot with the paddle, you can just lay it right on the front. You can certainly stand on it with the box, which I'll show you in a second. You can come from the back. What do you think, buddy? Now that was interesting. Let me do it again. Now this is one way that you can, in some cases, now he just may be having fun, but in some cases if you're treating, if they think there's an issue with the knee or something like that and you come and you get to it, if they won't let you on it, but you can go to the other knee the same way and you get nothing, could be an indication that he's got a little sensitivity here. See, he doesn't want me to be there. It's not that he doesn't want it to be there, it's just he knows it's there. I learned that several years ago. A fellow came up and he said, my horse seems like it's got a little something in the right knee. So we treated it, turned the machine up, treated the right knee, and we got what we just saw here, went to the same setting on the other knee, and the horse just stood there. So again, we don't diagnose, but there was some reason to think that he's just a little more sensitive. In that area. He's standing good now. Could have relaxed it. So the paddle just slides right into the hoof box. Place it in the area. Come on. Come down. Come on. There we go. So now we're treating the foot coming straight up. This way from the bottom. Want to push the flow up. This will help relieve heat. It'll help with the bursa, navicular, just general soreness, bruising, abscess. If they have an abscess, it can help pull that abscess very quickly. If you had an abscess, you'd take the machine all the way to the top and you'd have them stand on it for 10 minutes, and you can very easily pull an abscess in 1 or 2 treatments. Come on. Come on. Come on. Start again. There you go. This same configuration of coils and treatment is the same no matter which machine you're using. You have the same basic patterns that you're going to follow. He likes that. He's comfortable. Sometimes they'll try to put both feet. They like it so much they'll try to put both feet up there. Come on. Good job. Now, see, we're getting some movement right there that I was not getting on the other side. Nice thing about a pony is you can do both sides standing up. What do you think, bud? Huh? What do you think?
He's not pinning, which is good. He's not pinning his ears. That's good. That means he likes it. Christopher, go get another apple core.
Up.
He's getting it.
Relax.
Relax. Just Christopher. Christopher, we're feeding him.
Come up a little bit, Elaine.
Oh. Okay. No, no. No, no.
What do you think, buddy?
He's not pinning. It's good. At least he's not. He doesn't know what it is, but he's curious, so he's not pinning.
So hold on. So he's getting quite a bit more movement from this side. As soon as I come over here, you can see the movement.
Yeah.
When I come over to this side, there's very little in that area. See, there's very little movement here. See the difference?
Oh, I think I see. Because I just want to fly.
Sure. Oh yeah, he can put his head down. So when I rest above the sacrum, I get a little movement on both sides. Looks like it's more pronounced over here still. So
You want me to throw the wings? You want to throw the wings on there and treat the whole area for
yeah,
5 or 10 minutes?
yeah, in a minute. I want to.
He's a lot less annoyed now that he's relaxing more now that he has the grass to eat. You're hungry, aren't you? I am. I don't think he really cares now
He's having a big time.
because there's food for him to eat.
So obviously in the shoulder coming back, top line through this area right here. When I come down into the hip, it's not much. Relax.
He likes it. I don't think he really cares now that there's food.
Can you see the difference? He's getting some movement right here in this area, and as soon as I drop over to the other side, much more accentuated.
Yeah, there's still
Can you tell the difference?
more movement on the other side.
More movement over here.
He's like, nope.
Wow. Ready?
Yeah, take it up one more.
More or that good?
That's good right now.
So like if you do all the way down the top line, and then if there's like an area like where he like with this horse, we're just gonna cover.
So you can see, even with the wings, we're getting more movement on the right side than we are on the left. But we're getting it good up into here.
He's throwing the grass like nuts.
Come here. Stay here. Can you see where we're getting more? Again, as we're treating the entire area with the wings. Let's relax.
He's still laughing at you.
So at this point, we can come and lay them across the top line. We can go into what I call a hot dog, where we make it narrow.
We're going to make sure that they rest on the withers.
Sure.
Rest. This big lump right here is
Uh-huh. So at that point, we can open them up.
and make it look like he has wings. Let me see how much more. What which side has more movement.
He's doing pretty much right in the center this time. But we're able to get his entire shoulder.